Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Rita. I hope you all are doing well. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you are having a very successful and stress-free start to your week. And so I also hope that you have not been completely inundated by, or have allowed yourself to be completely inundated by the onslaught of same song that we've been hearing from our mainstream media outlets. I mean, they have all been singing from the same chorus book, humming the same hymns. Not only that, but they have also been trying to sell us on one particular perspective on this Ukraine-Russia thing. They have been trying to really push a narrative. If you don't see it, maybe you should I'm thinking maybe pause and take a step back and really look at this thing holistically and get an idea, try to get a feel for, this seems odd. It seems like a diversion. And I mean, Republicans, Democrats, left, right, all over the place, up, down, are singing the same song. Not only that, but the Biden theater troupe, better known as the U.S. industrial complex, has been busy while we have been looking at all of these Twitter threads and all of this other news coming down the pike about the Russia-Ukraine thing, and how I have been driving past billboards saying we support Ukraine. CNN has been talking about Ukraine, the same people who have been telling us to shelter in place and that we need all these passports and all this other crazy stuff, have been telling us that now we should get on their team. Well, not only is that happening, but like I said, the Biden theater troupe has been touring all around the world, going door to door, trying to proselytize world leaders. They have been going to India and Pakistan, going door to door, trying to tell people, hello, we'd like to tell you why you should be on our team today, Team Ukraine, that is. And by the way, while you're there, you should stop using fossil fuels because they're really bad for the environment, anyway. So this is just more of the reason why you should stop getting fossil fuel from Russia, because fossil fuels are terrible anyway. We're all trying to go toward this Green New Deal, and we are all trying to make the planet and the world a better place. And you want to be on the side of those who are fighting for the environment, don't you? Don't you want to be a part of our agenda?
And of course, there's going to be pressure to fill the gap. And that means that some of the choices we had available to us to try to follow through on Glasgow are going to be pinched. Yeah. Russia has a profound climate problem. 66% of Russian territory sits on top of what used to be frozen land. Yeah. And the permafrost is now thawing. Their infrastructure in cities built up there is in trouble, and their extractive infrastructure, the infrastructure with which they extract their gas, is also in trouble in places.
Your relationship, your engagement, and your teams with the Russian climate envoy and them changed at all, or still kind of business as usual?
No, we've been able to stay on a pretty clear track. The only problem is Russia is not among the nations that has taken on ambition sufficient to the task. And Russia is one of the top emitters in the world, together with China, India, Indonesia, Mexico, some others. We have a big job to do to bring them on board.
Well, then go ahead, denounce Putin, get on the side of, on our side, the Ukrainian side of things. That is what the Biden theater troupe is doing. They're going on tour, trying to coerce world leaders to pick sides in this thing. So while that is going on, the other thing that's happening is the Biden administration is running fear-mongering ads in Latin America, telling them we must stop El Salvador before it turns into Venezuela. Now, why would he be running such ads? Could it be because El Salvador has declared Bitcoin to be its national currency? Oh, I don't know. All of the world central banks are ticked off right now at El Salvador. Now, don't get me wrong, El Salvador is working on a digital passport. So I don't necessarily like the sound of that. While I like the sound of some things, I don't like the sound of a digital passport. However, there are some areas in which some countries like El Salvador are not playing along with the global plan. Now, El Salvador is not the only one working on some kind of digital ID system. Turns out our country, while we've all been focused on Ukraine and focused on Russia and everything there, our country has quietly rolled out a vaccine passport. Quietly. This was an article written by Forbes on February 24th. Didn't know if you knew that. But yes, this was, again, it says, while the United States government has not issued a federal digital vaccine pass, they didn't, right? I remember last year, Jen Psaki said this.
2 questions. One on vaccine again. Is there any thought being given to a federally organized vaccine passport of some kind? Does the president see that maybe as some kind of tool that could be used, or would he lean more on the side of people who've raised objections over privacy and so on?
Well, let me be very clear on this. I know there's been lots of questions. The government is not now, nor will we be supporting a system that requires Americans to carry a credential. There will be no federal vaccinations database and no federal mandate requiring everyone to obtain a single vaccination credential. As these tools are being considered by the private and nonprofit sectors, our interest is very simple from the federal government, which is Americans' privacy and rights should be protected, and so that these systems are not used against people unfairly. There is a movement, as you know, in the private sector to identify ways that they can return to events where there are large swaths of people safely in soccer stadiums or theaters. And that's something that that's where the idea originated, and we expect that's where it will be concluded.
Public and private organizations, so that means private entities and nonprofits working together on a vaccine passport. So this article says, while the United States government has not issued a federal digital vaccine pass, a national standard has nevertheless emerged. To date, 21 states, the District of Columbia, and Puerto Rico offer accessibility to the Smart Health Card, a verifiable digital proof of vaccination developed through the Vaccination Credential Incentive, a global, you hear that, coalition of public and private stakeholders, including Microsoft, Salesforce, Oracle, the Mayo Clinic, and other health and tech heavyweights. So while we're focused over there, again, this is happening, and we are not hearing anything about this. We might be asking ourselves, well, what happened to no vaccine passports? What happened to that? We thought there were no vaccine passports. After all, as this article states, mask mandates and vaccine passports are a performance, are they not? A taking of the knee to a warped health and safety morality. I agree with this statement made by RT News. That's right, Russia Today News, which is a publication that has been removed from many platforms. And I wonder why. I've been reading it for quite some time, and they seem to cover a lot of conservative topics that leftists call conspiracy theories. So this is one, is that mask mandates and vaccine passports are a performance. Okay, this is supposed to be the pro-Putin publication as well. Just some food for thought. Anyway, this Forbes article also talks about how many indoor cultural attractions and performance venues in the U.S. require proof of vaccination. We believe it gives people a peace of mind when the folks around them are less likely to be contagious, says Gus Warren, CEO of Bindle, a health verification app that allows venues to verify the vaccination status of patrons. Hey, Gus. So we're still playing that game. You know, the game where you're less likely to transmit or contract the virus. Oh, we're still playing that game, because that's not scientific, right? People who have it who have the poke are still passing. Oh, okay. I just wanted to know where we were, Gus. Okay, Gus thinks we're still contagious. I mean, we're less likely to be contagious if we've been vaccinated. Okay. So, and if that's not true, then we have to continue to ask ourselves, why? Why the passport? Why? So it says here, Bindle's growing list of clients spans more than 30 states, from blue strongholds like California and New York to red leaners like Texas. Ooh, red leaners. Oh, Texas, leaner, red leaner. Florida, Arkansas, Missouri, and Georgia. So turns out that red states, according to this article, are silently rolling this thing out. They're sneakily rolling it out because, like the South Carolina director of immunization, he says this isn't a passport. This is
Have anything else, but credits will do fine.
No, they won't.
Credits will do fine.
No, they won't. What, you think you're some kind of Jedi waving your hand around like that?
This isn't a passport. It's convenience. It's convenience that we're after. We want you to have access to all of your records. So South Carolina's director of immunizations told Politico, this is essentially a COVID card that people get at their convenience because it's their record. And this is kind of the theme of what some of these red state representatives are saying. There was another person in Utah another guy from Utah who basically said, oh no, because we are trying to empower the individuals. We want people to have their own records, have access to their own records and be able to keep. Don't you feel empowered? I feel empowered. Don't you feel empowered knowing that, you and Microsoft and Oracle and everybody already, it says 200 million people who've received their vaccines already have their information uploaded into this cloud, I assume, some cloud. Aren't you confident? Don't you feel empowered and confident in knowing that this must be one heck of a blockchain and that they have all of your data on, that you can just use a QR code and scan? Don't you feel great knowing that the government and public and private entities have access? Well, they don't have access because, like I said, I'm sure it's all encrypted. You have nothing to worry about. Almost every state is trying to roll out a vaccine passport. So if you were wondering why they've stopped all the theater of the mask, and we're not mandating anything anymore. We're taking off the mask. We're lifting the restrictions. And this is why. It's because they're rolling this stuff out. The article goes on to say, having a vaccine verification system in place prepares the U.S. for the next coronavirus variants. The next. That sounds pretty definitive. The next. Conspiracy. I'm a conspiracy theorist, I guess. The next coronavirus variant, as well as the inevitability of a future pandemic. So they're going to roll with this. They're going with this. They're going with this whole pandemic thing. And this is why we need to have our medical cards and all this stuff on, QR code, because it's empowerment for us. It's for our convenience. It's for our health, and it's for our safety. Well, they told us that the vaccine was for our health and safety too, until the FDA just released a report saying that there were 1,200 side effects that appeared in all of these case studies. 1,200 side effects from the poke. The FDA just released. So, but they're still trying to sell us on the idea that it's safe and effective, much like they're selling us on the idea that this digital passport, it's not a digital passport. Just think of it as having your medical records in your pocket. Well, that won't be the only thing in your pocket. Check out this clip from Canada talking about digital IDs and what is coming down the pike. And if it's coming down the pike for Canada, he was not just speaking for Canadians, he was speaking to the whole world. Check it out.
Canada is on the cusp of a revolutionary innovation that will transform the way Canadians authenticate themselves online and protect their identity. Digital ID. All of us are living in a digital world, but we're tethered to an analog model of how we identify ourselves, memorizing countless online passwords, carrying government-issued licenses, plastic cards, and more. Digital ID is a way for Canadians to identify themselves to government, businesses, and each other electronically, with ease and rock-solid security, without the need to present physical documents. One interconnected network. A federated digital ID ecosystem developed in collaboration with Canada's best and brightest talent from our banks, telecommunication companies, law enforcement, and government.
So as you can see here, this is not just about the vaccine. This is about having all of our information. This is what's going on while everybody's focused on Ukraine and Russia under the guise of convenience and empowerment. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Of course, as always, I will leave the links below so you can check it out for yourself. And until next time, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. God bless. Ciao.